All right, all right. So we are going to begin 6:30 on the dot, Pacific Standard Time, of course. So I want to say welcome and thank you so much for joining the training. This is our team no excuses training, which actually exactly what that means is that we're focused on Success Club. We're focused on no excuses. We're focused on building our business. So if you have identified yourself as somebody who wants to actively work this business and build this business, then you're in the right place. This is exactly where you need to be, right here on the No Excuses team training call. So I actually have a really good topic for you today. We're going to talk about, and thank you so much for coming on live. Really, really excited. So we're going to talk tonight about setting realistic goals. And by realistic goals, I mean goals to move your business forward. So I've had lots of conversations over the years where it has been, we'll say it's challenging to really get the idea across about how many invitations we have to do in order to make progress in this business. It's challenging to really get that across. Does that make sense? Like, probably my biggest struggle is to help people get beyond or live beyond the fact that it is kind of a numbers game, and it sounds, yes, we are working with people, and we're trying to get people to understand that that this is a people helping people business. So I hate talking about people in terms of numbers, but I need you to understand that out of the vast majority of people that there are, we need to figure out, or we need to know that the more people you talk to, the more people you invite, the better chances you have of building your business. So, I had a mentor from before that talked about, he said, he always said, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. Meaning, like, if you're not sharing about the business, you're not going to make a paycheck. You're not going to earn a living, right? Think about what you do for work right now, what you have done, and how hard you worked for a degree, or how hard you worked for a specialty certification, or how hard you work on a day-to-day basis. Think about those things. Those things are really important. Hang on one second. Let me just make sure that everyone's going to be muted here. Hang on one sec, guys. One sec. Let's see. If you could, obviously, just if you could mute your line, that would be okay. Just in case. Just in case, because I just want to make sure that the recording is super clean for everybody. So I hate to talk to say that people are numbers, because we're not. However, if you're only talking to or inviting 1, 2, 3, 4, even 10 people every month, your business will not grow. And one of the most frustrating things about working a business like this is when you're not having any success. And we've talked about it before in the past, where the path to success is Success Club, right? Because that's like the foundational, that's foundational to figure out exactly what you need to do in order to build this business. That is like a foundational skill, is learning how to hit Success Club. So tonight we're going to talk about setting personal goals and realistic goals. Number one is, I want you to think back to what is your goal. So what is your goal? What are you trying to achieve? Remember, everybody's different. You may be just working on your own accountability, but you really want to bring your friends and family along with you. That's fine. You may be wanting to quit your job in the next year or two. That's great. Whatever your goal is, it needs to be yours, and it needs to be your why. It has to be something that's driving enough, that's actually going to make you do the things that make you uncomfortable, going to make you get out of your own way, going to help you grow. Okay? That's really important. So you really need to hone in every single day. Like, why am I doing this? What's my purpose? What is the reason behind me doing this business? So what is your goal? What is your why? And then I want you to break that down even further. And, we established that, of course, on our first training call. But I need you to break that down even further into, what's that dollar amount. Okay. So whatever that goal is for you, all of us are here pretty much because we want to build a business. Maybe you just want to make a little extra. Maybe you just want to cover your Shakeology, or maybe you want to be earning 6 figures in 2 years, which by the way is very possible, but only if you're doing the right activity. Typically 2 to 5 years in a business like this type of model, if you're doing the right activity, you should be financially stable. You should experience financial freedom. Usually for most people, that means at least $50,000 up into the 6 figures, or even sometimes 7 figures working this business. So what's that dollar amount for you? So it's pretty simple. If your dollar amount is, I want my Shakeology and my business fees paid for, okay, well then you have a dollar amount, right? Because Shakeology and your business fees, everything done, everything paid for, it's gonna run you as a coach about $124 per month. So you need to be earning at least $124 a month. So that's what you need to write down. What is your dollar amount? Or if you know that you want to quit your teaching job, what's that dollar amount? What is that on the annual salary? What is that on your monthly? What is that weekly? What do you need to make? That's step one, right? You got to figure out, number one, what do you want? Second thing is, okay, how much is it going to take to get you to that point? Like how much money? What's the dollar amount? You need to assign a dollar amount to it. The next part is, okay, now we need to figure out a time frame to get you there. So in the beginning, when I was first doing this, I had my couple $100,000 of debt. And I remember, I was quickly chipping away at that as my Beachbody business started to grow. And every time I got a check from Beachbody, I sent off a payment to some credit card company to pay it all down. It was like comical because I was making this money and I just kept sending it off to credit card companies, just pay it all down. But you know what I made? I had a part in making that debt, so I fully accepted responsibility for it. But I had a time frame in mind. And so I want to ask you that question. What's your time frame? My time frame was within 2 years. I want all of this debt paid off. That would mean that I would need to work over and above and beyond, make a minimum of $50,000 just with Beachbody in order just to pay off my credit card debt. And then that didn't include some other things, some other bills that were in there. But I knew that dollar amount, and I knew how much time I wanted in order to pay it off. And that's something that's powerful because I've had people, coaches, and this is very typical. I'm not knocking anybody. What I'm saying is I don't want you to fall in the typical pitfalls that most other people fall in. And that's why people say that businesses don't like this don't work, is because most people fall in the categories of I share this with 3 to 5 people and none of them bit, so I must not be good at this. Or yes, I'm talking about the business all the time, but they're still talking to the same 10 people over and over again. Or they're falling into the camp of, hey, well, I want to pay off debt. I want to do this, but they never put a time frame in it. They don't put a commitment on it. You don't write it down. Like, what is that dollar amount for you? If you don't know how much debt you're in and your goal is to pay off debt, that's number one, right? All of us, we're in the health and fitness industry. And what do we tell our clients? Like the very first step in a weight loss program, like before you actually get started, what do? We take our measurements, we weigh ourselves, we take our pictures. We need a starting point. If you don't even know how much debt you have, how are you ever going to even be chipping away at it? You can't even develop a plan. You can't develop a plan if you don't know how much food you're consuming. If you don't know how many calories you're consuming, if you don't know, you can't develop a plan. You need a baseline. You need that. Okay? So you need a time frame. You need a dollar amount. You need a time frame. The third thing you need is a plan to get you to that goal. All right? That's the third thing you need, is a plan to get you to that goal. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about for the bulk of the rest of this training tonight. And some of this may feel remedial to you, but I'm always amazed at the people. I'm always amazed at how many times I have to hear something over and over again, or how many times I have to say something over and over again before it really starts to sink in. And I used to have a really good memory, and I would wonder, I'm like, why does, I go to a training for Chalene. I'm like, why does she it's like she does the same exact training almost every single time we do this, or she's taught this 30 different times. I've seen it. She's taught this one simple thing like 30 different times. Why is that? It's because we learn through repetition. So, it's really funny because, I went to Marketing Impact Academy this year. I think it was the 5th year. I've been to several seminars, and I go every single year because things change. But also whenever, just like reading a book, again, if you reread a book, you're different the second time you read it than the first time you read it. So you're going to learn so much more. You're going to learn so much more. So this is what I just really want to help you to kind of wrap your brain around that. We're going to talk about the goal. We're going to give you a plan. But I'm also want you to know, like, if any of this feels remedial to you, more than likely the people that you're leading, it's not going to feel remedial to them. It's always good to remember and to go back to basics, because we tend to completely overcomplicate this business. We do. We tend to completely overcomplicate this business. All right. So let's move on to the next. Okay. So we talked about before the plan. That's where we're at. The plan to get you there, right? So we said, what's your goal? You got to identify that. You need to know what the dollar amount is tied to that. So if you are just now jumping on, you can always go back and watch the beginning. We talked about that you need a time frame, right? And who cares if you don't hit your goal within that time frame? You just adjust. So don't worry about the failure in that. The failure is not putting a time frame on it. Okay, that's the failure, is not identifying it and not working toward it. Here's the plan to get you to that goal. On the very first training, we talked about the benefits of hitting Success Club and why it is so critical. Like I said, it's baseline. And the longer that you're in this business and the higher that you go up in rank, the more you're going to see that, like, every single reward has the foundation of Success Club. So now, as a star diamond, so 2-star, 5-star, 10-star, 15-star, you get a quarterly bonus. However, your quarterly bonuses are based on your Success Club points, your coach's Success Club points, also how many people that you are actively recruiting into the business. So it's based on a lot of different things, but it does have that foundational layer. Why? If you think about it, I've heard people tell me before, well, I'm just focusing on inviting to the business. I'm not focusing on Success Club points. But I'm like, but if you're inviting to the business and people are getting, on the Shakeology train, or they're getting on the idea of, like, yeah, I buy into the idea of a complete package of fitness, nutrition, and accountability, then that's challenge pack. So I don't understand, like, who are you recruiting that's not buying anything, right? So Success Club is the foundation for everything. And I'm going to talk, later on, actually next week, I think we're going to talk very extensively about presenting the business and why that is a critical aspect of what we do. Because I think we focus way too much on challenge groups. But Success Club is the foundation. So if you need to go back and watch that very first training, talks about how, but at minimum, if you're hitting Success Club 5 every single month, you're going to increase your bottom line by about $100 a month. That's foundational. So we need to know how to do this, and we need to know how to teach it. This is really critical, okay, to our success and the success of our coaches too. So it is the way. Success Club is the way. And I need to talk to you, just letting you know that simply by adding, right, because Success Club 5, that's average of 3 orders, or 3 challenge pack, home direct, Shakeology, Daily Sunshine, all that stuff. That's about 3 people per month, right? So if you want to go for 10, then that's like just 5 people a month, 3 to 5 people a month. So an average of a person a week. If you could consistently help 1 person per week, okay? So between 3 to 5 people, an average of 1 person per week, then that is going to give you 52 people in your business every single year. But I think what most of us fail to do is recognize the simplicity of just having 1 person purchase a challenge pack or an HD product a week. We miss the simplicity of that. We think that it's got to be massive or grandiose or something. It's literally just 1 a week. That's it. So that's 52 people in your business every single year. So customers and coaches. Let's pretend that half of those people end up being coaches. That would be 26 coaches in your downline. I want to give you a little perspective here. Yes, I have a very deep downline. Yes, I've been doing this nearly 10 years, but I have about 100 coaches in my business, in the 3 of my business centers. Just 100 in the last 10 years, right? That first year or so probably did at least 20 to probably 30. I think I did like 30. Because one thing that is really hard in a business like this is to grow slow. It's just like with our challengers, or if we're trying to help people with weight loss and you're like, hey, just shoot for a pound a month. Just get 1 pound a month. That is so demotivating. So if you're only pulling in, like one customer every month, that's demotivating. That feels like you're not doing anything. Even if you're like, whoa, kind of, but not really, right? Because if the best way to get momentum is to just keep the ball rolling, to get the ball rolling and keep it going. So think about that. If half of those people, 52 people in your business every single year, if half of them became coaches, that's 26 people in your business. That's about what I did my first year. And my first year, I think we did $30,000 because it didn't just stop there. I recruited, then I taught them what to do. I recruited, then I taught them what to do. That's a critical step that I also think that we're missing in a culture that we have today, because we're like in this fast-paced culture of trying to keep up with all the different product releases. We need to dumb it down. We need to focus on what's going to create money in your pocket, what's going to create longevity for you, what's going to create sustainable business for you. That's what we need to bring it to. Let's pretend, okay, we don't get half those people. Even if you got a third of them, that is 17 coaches. Do you guys know how many coaches it takes to hit diamond status? And this is I'm going to be circling back to this, but it only takes 8. It only takes 8. So if we're doing the bare minimum of recruiting one customer or coach per week, then we would easily be hitting that diamond. Of course, that would be in a year, but I'm going to encourage you guys that you can actually do it much, 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 much faster than that. And we'll get to that. So, okay, now we know, because it all breaks down to math, which I actually had to break out my calculator for this on my phone. I used to be really good at math, and now calculators have ruined me forever. But let's talk about how. But how do you really make that happen, right? Because you're having conversations, you're inviting people, you feel like you're doing all the right things, because I hear this a lot too. But how do you really make it happen? It comes down to math and tracking and following up. Math, tracking, following up. That's all it comes down to. So let's talk about how to hit Success Club every single month. The first step is you need to have a paid challenge group start date. Solid. Every single month. Solid. So you have that on your calendar every month. This is when I am launching my challenge group. Now, say nobody bites, you don't get anybody new into it. No biggie. Move the date. You need to have a date every single month. Or, one recruiting tool that I used heavily in the beginning was I used to run new coach trainings every single month. So one thing that I taught, or one thing that I would recruit for, is I would recruit for people to come into the business so they would hit that cutoff to make it into my new coach training that was launching starting the next month. So you need one of two things, either a paid challenge group or a new coach training start date every single month. That's going to help you stay focused, because if you know it's the second or the third Monday of every month you always launch a challenge group, then that's going to help to get you on pace. Okay. Secondly, you need to know that in order to get one yes, you need to invite about 15 different people to get one yes. Now, we used to say 1 in 10, but I say, and then I would tell people we'll double it. But so we're just going to split it down the middle, because you're going to get 1 in 10, but you might not get it this exact month that you need it. So I need you to kind of shoot over so that you know you can control. You can't control the outcome, but you can control your work going into it. That's really important. So I say, in order to get one yes, you need to do about 15 invitations. And by an invitation, I do need to clarify this just in case you are relatively new. An invitation is a one-to-one invitation, meaning, hey, I have a new coach training coming up. I know that we talked about doing the business in the past. My coach training is going to launch on Monday. Are you still interested in talking about becoming a coach? That's an invitation. That's direct one-to-one. That's not a post on my wall. That's not a mass email. That's not a mass text. That is a direct conversation with somebody, okay? And it doesn't have to be, it can be text, it can be phone call. Of course, phone call is always best, but people usually don't answer their phone anymore, so usually they'll prefer text. Messenger is huge. You know, of course, you can use Facebook Messenger or any type of DM or any type of email. Email is probably the last because statistics are showing that like maybe 5 to 10% of emails are getting opened. So just keep that in mind. It's a personal invitation. So I'm talking 15 invitations to get one yes. So now it's just math. We're like, oh, great. So 15 is the number. Perfect. So if I need 3 people to say yes to me this month, then how many invitations do I need to put out there? If you want to hit Success Club 5, that would be 45. That might sound scary for you until you open up your phone, see how many contacts you have in there, until you open up your Facebook, see how many friends you have, until you open up your Twitter and see how many people are following you. And if you're like, I've lived under a rock for the last 2 years, who cares? I wasn't on Facebook when I started this business. Trust me, by name, by first name, you probably know at least 100 people. You just need to get them on paper because it feels like you know no one until you start making a list, until you have a massive list, right? So if you're reaching for Success Club 5, so maybe you've never hit 5 before and that is your goal, that means a minimum of 45 invitations. If you're reaching for 10, so if you typically hit 5 or you've done it a couple times, always shoot for 10 because who cares if you fall back and you only hit 5, right? But this is like, why not? Why not shoot for the stars? So 45 invitations if you're shooting for 5, 90 invitations if you're shooting for 10. That's how many people you need to be inviting every single month. So then the next piece of the pie is, okay, well, how many days per week, per month how many days this month am I actually going to be working my business? So you'll open up your calendar and you're like, oh shoot, I'm going to Disneyland on this day. I've got a bridal shower on that day that I'm hosting. You open up your calendar and you figure out, okay, out of this month, I have 25 days that I'll be working the business. Great. You take your 45 invitations, you divide that by the 25 days the year that you're working. Or you take your 45 invitations, you're like, dude, I really only have like 10 focus days this month. Fabulous. You take your 45 invitations, you divided that by the 10 days, and you need to get those invitations out within those days. It's simple math. That's all. It's not sexy. It's not super tricky. But what most people do is we throw out like one invite a day, or maybe you sit down one day and you hit it really hardcore and you send 30, but then you don't come back to it for a month, right? So and then of course, actively follow up. So you simply figure that out. So if you are working, for instance, if you work your business 5 days a week, and that's only like 30 to 60 minutes a day, which is average for somebody first starting out, 30 to 60 minutes a day, 5 days a week, then that's only 9 invitations that you need to send out every day. It's not scary. And especially once you send like the first one, you go, and you're like, oh, that wasn't so hard. Okay. Copy paste. Templates are your friend, my friends. Okay. Templates written in your own words, or even a video. Actually, the last one I did, I actually created a 1-minute video, and I sent that through Messenger to people, and I was like, hey, I saw your face. I wanted to send you a quick video and let you know that I've got this thing coming up. And if you don't want to do it, no biggie. But here's kind of like what we're doing. So message me back right away because I'm actually going to be closing it out on Monday. And so that's how I hit Success Club in 2 days by sending that video out. I was like, I was scampering because my kids were so sick. So the final piece of this on how to hit Success Club every month is your follow-up system is critical. It's critical. Like, you can't be relying on people. Like, your follow-up system cannot be when somebody messages me back, that's when I follow up. No. Your follow-up system needs to be Teamsy or Google Streak, or it needs to be like a tracking document. If you go into the training, tinyurl.com/fitfinances training, there's a whole section on follow-ups. And we have the business activity tracker in there. There's also a tracker that I've created that's in there as well. I like the one that I've created because you put in the person's name. That way you can simply copy paste them over. So like, you did an invite on Monday to Lou. Okay. So then you can just copy paste Lou's name over into the Wednesday column for follow-up. Okay. I like that because I don't like rewriting. You're going to lose written notes. You're going to lose that. That's not a follow-up system. A follow-up system is something that you can sort, something that you can track, something that is going to live for a while. Okay. Not something that you can lose. Right. So that's critical. You have to have a follow-up system and know that each invitation is going to require probably between 5 to 10 follow-ups. And I'm not talking about a follow-up meaning, hey, did you see the video I sent? Hey, did you see the video I sent? Hey, I've got another group coming up. Hey, no. I'm talking like, yeah, follow up with them that way. Hey, just want to let you know this is the last call. I didn't want you to think that I forgot you. And then the next follow-up, if you don't hear anything back, just go on their wall, post on their wall, conversate with them, start a different conversation. That is like a touch point. That's like a follow-up. Then you go back and at the next time you run a group, hey, I noticed that you wanted to do this before. Is this something that might be of your interest now? So you usually have to follow up with someone between 5 to 10 times before they decide to go with you. That's okay. That's normal. That's just basic marketing. All right. So once you know like the math behind it, you're like, oh, I don't suck. It's just math. It's not that I'm horrible at this. It's just math. Oh, I get it. Okay. It has nothing to do with it. That's why I said I hate to look at people like numbers because we're so much more than that. People are so much more than that. But what's important to remember is that you need to know these things because unless there is a mathematical like a number attached to it, you cannot know how you're doing. Okay. So, just like reading your personal development, if you don't track how many pages you're reading, if you don't actively try to get in 3 podcasts a week, or you don't actively try to do 1 new training a month, you don't actively like reach for those things, then there's no way of you knowing like, okay, I'm really lacking in this area. Why? If you haven't tracked it, if you're not tracking how many minutes a day you're reading, if you're not tracking anything, there's no way of you knowing why you are doing well or bad in any area. Okay, so this is critical. Point number four. Duplicate what you do. Okay, so let's think about this. This is the type of business. It has to be systematic. It has to be plug and play. That's one reason why I have a team training that's open to everybody. Christine Dwyer, she has a team training that's open to everybody. Coach, Beachbody coaches, we all have a training that's open to everybody. This has to be plug and play, just like our workout programs. It has to be plug and play. It needs to be something that anybody can do. Anyone. So doesn't matter what age you are, doesn't matter what race you are, doesn't matter how much experience you have on a computer, doesn't matter if you've had any fitness background, nutrition background, marketing background, doesn't matter any of those things, right? Everything is level. It's all level. Whether you are a dud, whether you are a stud, it's going to work. You need to make sure that you're only teaching the things that duplicate. You're only teaching the things that duplicate. So, for instance, I wouldn't train you in running boot camps because not everybody is a kinesiology major. Not everybody knows exercise modifications. Not everybody has the right certifications. You don't have liability. So I wouldn't teach you guys, even though I think that's a really great way to increase your business. I am not going to teach you to do that because that isn't something that's duplicable for, say, my mom or, Joe Schmo down the street. It needs to work for everybody, and it needs to work whether you live next door to somebody or they're in the United Kingdom on a completely different time zone. It needs to work for anyone and everyone. So we only need to, we need to focus on the things that duplicate. So we learn it ourselves. We do it. We teach it. We repeat it. Learn, do, teach, repeat. That's how business like this works. That's why Starbucks is successful. They have one menu that does not change from location to location. That's why McDonald's is the #1 restaurant ever in the world, because they have a menu, they have a system. It's all a system. They have a training system. They have their everything's set in place. It's plug and play. That's how your business needs to be. It needs to be plug and play. You need to have templates. You need to have your own. You need to have a system for yourself, the one that works for you, but something that also duplicates. Something that duplicates. All right. And this is where you go from student to teacher. So this is the part where you go, okay, well, now that I know, now that I've done a challenge group with my upline, right? So we co-hosted one. Now I can do one on my own. So you move from student to teacher. And this is a critical step because I think most people just stay in student. You know, we never get beyond like dreaming above emerald. We're like, I want to retire from my job, but you know, I still have to make that emerald rank. You know, no. It's you just got to do it. You got to figure out how to do it and just start to do it. Right. So, one thing that one saying, right? So student to teacher, you have to grow beyond you. And one thing that will help you is this little saying. It's like, I do it. You watch. Okay. So pretend you're the training coach. I do it, you watch. Okay. Then you do it, I watch. Then the next step is you do it. Okay. So as the training coach, me, I do it, you watch. So that would be like an example of this would be, of course, I'm running a challenge group and I'm inviting my new coaches to coach it along with me, to run it with me. Okay. I do it, you watch. You're a participant in my challenge group. The next challenge group that coach is partnering with you in, then they're running it, you watch. So now you're the participant in their group. Then the final step is they do it on their own, right? And that is why, you know, my business made $30,000 in the first year was because this was a system that we were very heavy on in the very, very, very beginning. I do it, you watch. You do it, I watch. Then you do it on your own. And that made lots of people who are very independent with their businesses. And I think that we're just so used to being like spoon-fed all the information. We're spoon-fed how to create a diet plan, or we're spoon-fed our meal plans. We're spoon-fed, you know, our on-demand workouts. We're spoon-fed so many things. It's like we expect the business to work like this too. There comes a stance where you have to go back to that step one of like, what's your goal? What's your goal? And like, what are you going to do to get there? And you have to identify yourself as, I am a business owner. This is my business. And whether it succeeds or fails is 100% up to me. So you need to start thinking in terms of that and holding yourself to a higher integrity, because, you know, it's funny because I teach fitness classes. Most of you know that. But like, if I'm working out at 100%, then my class will be at about 50%. Right? Because as the leader, you usually work way, way harder than your students are. So if I really want them to kick it up a gear, then that means like I have to go over the top, almost hurting myself in order to get them to the level that I need to bring them to. Just like you guys probably don't even know this, but when you film a fitness video, it's probably like one of the most challenging, exhausting, horrific experiences of your life, because literally, and I've trained lots of people because I've done lots of fitness videos. I've directed lots of fitness videos as well. And literally I'm like, okay, well, when you're the presenter or you're on video, what it looks like on video, by the time, like, even if you're giving it 100%, it looks like 30 on video. So if you see somebody on video that has like tremendous energy, know that they are literally slamming themselves into the ground to have that energy for you. I remember like limping off of sets at the end of every video shoot, like, just like aching for days, because you literally, you have to put everything out there we're like, extend farther, you know, like you have to, it's crazy. It's crazy the energy that you have to put in. So knowing that, you need to know that as the leader, it's always going to feel like you're putting in way more energy and effort than your team is. And you are. It's supposed to be that way. You're the leader. Feel in trouble if your team is surpassing you. Okay? So you need to stay on your game and you need to stay in the front. Okay? Lead from the front. Doesn't mean that you always have to be doing the exact same activities, because the activities that I do at year 10 are different than year 1, even week 1. They're different, okay? But they're different activities. Like I couldn't even match to Christine because she's always put in a lot more hours than me. So even though we've been doing it the same amount of time, she's put in a lot more hours than me over the course of the time. So I can't match her, what she's doing in order to make my business work, just like you guys can't match me. But I can tell you that these are the foundational things that will get you to where you want to go. Okay. So, you know, this whole, I do it, you watch, you do it, I watch, you do it, all comes down to a couple of things. Of course, challenge groups. Another thing is business presentations. I'm going to throw a challenge out there for you guys. I want you to go through your contact list. I want you to identify your top 10. I want you to identify your top 10 people that you believe would be good at this business. Now, not because they're into fitness, not because they're into nutrition, not because they are a fitness person necessarily, okay? Or because they're Miss Popular. I want you to identify people who you think would be good at this business. These are people who have integrity. These are people who have a strong why. Maybe they recently had a child and, you know, they want to stay home, or they're planning a future family. They have strong integrity. They have a strong why, and they're good on their word. Like, well, I guess that's integrity. But the other part of this would be like, are they the type of person that's like, oh, if I need to get something done, that person. Identify who those people are in your life. And even if they're no big deal, but I want you to identify those 10, your top 10. Like if you could think of your dream team, like who would those people be? And I encourage you, reach out to your upline. If you're not comfortable with doing presentations, reach out to your upline and say, hey, can we schedule a conference call where I invite my top people in order to hear you talk about the business and present the business to them? And I'd be happy to do this with as many of you guys as you want. Of course, I do have to work around my kids' schedules, but I'm happy to do this. So always go directly upline. If that person's completely disengaged, then of course you can continue to move up and find the star, diamond, etc. Okay. But this is something that we did from the very beginning. Every single week, there was a business presentation going every single week. We were inviting people to learn about the business. So go through your contact list, figure out those. That's just my challenge for you. It's not like a mandatory thing, but if you're looking to build a business that's going to sustain, then you need to start talking about the business, not just about weight loss, because somebody who wants to lose weight is probably a different person than somebody who wants to make a business out of this. Okay. Now, the person who lost weight might decide to make a business out of this. So you still need both. You need challenge groups, but you also need to be actively looking for and recruiting business partners, people you want to do business with. All right. And that brings me to point number 5, which I may have said the numbers incorrectly because this was actually 3 and then I changed it. I flipped it to 5. But diamond has to be your goal. Like diamond is really where your business starts. That's really where, you know, in the beginning, we told people like, okay, emerald, that should be like the day you sign up. And then diamond is 90 days. Like it shouldn't be something that's far out distant. It's not that hard. It's 8 people. It's 8 people. 8. Okay. Whether they're a discount coach or they're actively recruiting or they really want to kill it in this business. And the reason that, I say go for diamond in 90 days. Number 1, like I said, it's way easier and it's way more fun to build this business fast than it is slow, because it's painful to build it slow. And you never know how long people are going to stay with you, you know? So I have about 100 coaches over the course of the 10 years. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm going to guess about 25 have quit, something like that. You know what I mean? Just over the course of time. I try not to pay attention to that. It's usually just not a good fit, or they, who knows. But think about it. In 90 days, let's see. I wrote a figure down here and now I'm questioning, how did I do that? In 90 days, you could easily recruit 9 to 15 people. Oh, this is why. Because if you are actively hitting Success Club every month, right? That's adding 3 to 5 people every single month. So if you're doing that actively and you're focusing primarily on the business side of things and bringing people into your business, then you could easily hit that in 90 days, right? So if you bring 3 to 5 people in per month in 90 days, that is 9 to 15 people. How many people does it take to hit diamond? 8. Okay, 8. So if you're not completely fully aware of exactly what that looks like, let me just draw it out for you super duper quick. I promise this will be super fast. And we're almost wrapped for the evening, okay? Just because I want you to get this. And this is like a critical baseline thing. Some people think that diamond's like the goal. It's a goal. And it's like where you really start to prove who you are. You know what I mean? So here's you at the top. Your diamond is simply 4 on each leg, right? Active, of course. And at least 1 on each leg needs to be an emerald. So we'll just put an E to signify, okay? I was probably backwards. No, I think it should come up right for you guys. So at least 1 on each leg needs to be an emerald. And here's your diamond, right? So why diamond? Like, why are we striving for diamond? Number 1, because you, like I said, this is where you really start to become a leader. Because now you have actually people to lead. And if half those people are discount coaches, which is probably what's going to end up happening, they just want to do it for the discount. Half of them are going to tell you up front, I just want a discount. Great. Take them. You want them. The other half, those people are going to, or probably about 25% of them will tell you, yes, I want to do this. Or actually the other half will do it, and about 20% will try. Okay. And you're going to end up with probably 1 of those 8 really, really actively working the business. Okay, so 1 will sit at emerald, maybe fall in and out. The other one will be working with you. Okay, remember that statistic of 1 in 10, it follows you everywhere you go. So of course 8 is the minimum, but if you're shooting for 10, great, because if some people fall in and out of active status, you don't lose your rank. And that's really important, because it's a blow to your ego to lose your rank. I recently fell from 9 to 6. I had one of my diamonds quit, and then some other ones, they've, their businesses have kind of fallen flat. So from 9-star to 6-star, and that's a little bit of a strike to my gut, but I also know I've got some up and coming leaders that are, on the cusp. So it's okay. This business does have ebbs and flows. So if that's your goal, I say shoot for 10 coaches in your first 90 days, or like today, from 90 days from now, at least 10. And you need to help a minimum of 2 of those people get to emerald. And that's how you're going to hit diamond. So why do it? Well, as a diamond coach, you could cap out, which means hopefully everybody's aware of what a team cycle bonus is. Basically, the number of points that you accumulate on each leg equals a certain dollar amount. So as an emerald coach, you can only earn $14 per cycle, okay? As a ruby coach, you can earn $16 per cycle. As a diamond coach, you can earn $18 per cycle. So number 1, you're going to make more money per cycle as a diamond coach. And then the second thing is you cap out. So if you teach people effectively, you become diamond, you teach people how to become diamond, then what ends up happening is you could reach your cap, which I think I hit my cap within the first year or 2 of diamond. And that is, let me just tell you, $2,000 per week is how much you can earn as a diamond coach. So $2,000 per week, that's $8,000 a month. Okay. Think about that. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. Even if you don't even cap out, but you hit half. Oh my gosh, $1,000 per week. Even if you don't even hit that, but you're doing 25% of that, that's $500 a week by building a team. by building a team. This is critical, because if you don't build a team of people and teach them what to do, then your business can never move away from you. You will always be just running challenge groups, just recruiting. And that is a fast track for burnout, unless you have a desire and a want to be a salesperson. Like if that's like what fuels you, that's awesome. There are people in this business that are just amazing at sales, and they're great. But the problem with that is you constantly have to do that. So it's really, 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 really critical that I drive home this fact to everybody, is that, like, yes, Success Club is foundational, and yes, Diamond has got to be the goal. If you want to build a team, you have to get to Diamond as quickly as possible. Trust me on this, as quickly as possible. And I'm not talking about like beg people to do this. I'm talking about bust your butt to get people who actually want to do this into your business. Whether they're a discount coach or they want to actively work the business or whatever, and then help them. So new coaches come in. You're like, but how do I help them? You either put them in a challenge group because they're working on their own fitness journey and accountability, or you get them into a new coach training, which you can easily follow along with them in my training. Okay. I'm not saying go and create your own. I'm saying do it with them, or follow along with them in Christine's training, or follow along with them in the First 30, or follow along with them in, the Coach Online Office training. But you need to be doing something in order to get your people engaged and involved. Okay. So super quick recap, setting realistic goals. It's not realistic to say, I'm going to talk to 10 people this month and expect your business to go anywhere. It's just not. You need to be actively working, recruiting, inviting, one-to-one invitations. That's so important. Okay. So the first thing, you got to know what your goal is, and you need to know what that dollar amount is. You need to have a time frame on it, and you need your plan, which this is your plan. Number 2 is you need to focus on Success Club, because that is the way to hit it, right? If we're helping an average of one person every single week, then that is going to give you 52 people into your business every single year. Trust me, that's going to be a business that will thrive and continue to grow beyond you. All right. That will probably also get you to Diamond, which we just talked about. Number 4 was, we talked about how to hit Success Club every single month, making sure that you have a paid group every single month, not a free group. That's why I said a paid group. I'm talking about not a clean eating group, not a, hey, let's just, everybody sign up for the free bod for 14-day free trial. No. I'm talking about like a paid group every month, or a new coach training every month that's starting, something that's going to help you stay on track with your invites and make sure that you're actually getting those invites out. Number 4 was, you need to learn how to duplicate what you do. And that goes right into number 5, which was Diamond. Diamond has to be the foundational goal. So if you're not yet there, I want you to set a goal for yourself. Okay, 90 days from now, this is where I need to be. 90 days from now, this is where I need to be. I need to be at Diamond. And this is how I'm going to do it. So I hope that this training helped you guys. I really, really hope that this training helped you guys. Let me check the time. I'm a little bit nervous because, I'm super late getting to my boys, and I apologize for the long-winded training tonight. So I am going to cut it. Please feel free. You can email me questions. But I am going to say, because of the timing for tonight, I will be posting this tomorrow. I will be sending out the homework for tomorrow as well. So it's not going to be tonight. It's going to be tomorrow. But in that, my poor kids are probably exhausted and waiting for me. So have a good night, everybody. Take care. Thank you so much. Great to see you, everybody.